Good morning. My name's Rick Shapiro, and I'm here on this beautiful spring day in Virginia to talk to you about railroad asbestos and diseases that are caused by exposures in the railroad, and how a whistleblower blew the whistle on the railroads with regard to diesel engine exposures to asbestos. The railroads in litigation around the United States in the last 20 years have constantly defended their cases where they are being sued by saying no one that worked on trains and diesel engines had any appreciable exposure to asbestos, and they have fought those cases tooth and nail. But finally, a whistleblower came forward who worked in Pennsylvania for Conrail, removing asbestos from diesel engines, and now the railroads cannot credibly claim that there was no asbestos on diesel engines during the 70s, 80s, 90s, even to the 2000s. Now, asbestos disease doesn't strike with the suddenness of lightning. Asbestos exposure over decades can lead to disease that strikes people 10, 20, 30, 40 years after their considerable exposure to asbestos. So we've represented workers like engineers and conductors who were in diesel engines for 20 years plus, never once knew they were exposed to asbestos. The railroad employer never once said there was asbestos there, and they've come down with asbestos cancers and asbestosis. And because of the whistleblower, we can take that deposition where that whistleblower told how he found asbestos on the engines, how he removed asbestos on behalf of the railroads, and we can show that indeed there was considerable asbestos on every make and model of diesel engine before the railroads finally, under the cover of darkness, removed the asbestos from the engines. In several cases of major railroads, they set up an abatement or removal program, brought in outside contractors, and stripped the asbestos off the water pipes that fed from the engine all the way up into the crew cabs. The workers that worked in those rail yards where this work was going on were never even told that asbestos contractors were doing the work, but of course the workers found out about it through the grapevine. If you have a question about an asbestos disease or cancer case on the railroad, please feel free to call us or fill out a quick contact form. If we can't take your call right at that moment because we're in court, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you.